weeks ago, it was announced that Marvel Studios acquired the rights to Spider-Man and his associated properties from Sony Entertainment. As a part of the agreement, Sony is going to reboot the Spider-Man franchise away from the Amazing Spider-Man series that we've come to know and hate. Ethan, how do you think this will impact the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I think it won't, immediately. The issue is that they just got Spider-Man. They obviously may have prepared scripts just in case, specifically in Civil War, since he's such a huge part of it. But since Civil War is starting so soon, I don't see it happening. I see it happening maybe in later films where you'll have such a huge presence that they'll shove it in your face and they'll make it known that we have Spider-Man now. I feel like since it's so immediate with the news that the casting will have to be fast-tracked almost immediately, and they have to write him in, they have to get the actor's sensibilities correct, so it's going to be really difficult to get him in a full role in Civil War.
Yeah, and with the casting for the new movie, Jason, who do you think is going to be the new Spider-Man?
Well, there's been a few names that have been thrown out there, rumors, and there's a couple frontrunners that I've heard. One is Dylan O'Brien from MTV's Teen Wolf, and the other big one is Logan Lerman from Perks of Being a Wallflower and the Percy Jackson series. But personally, my choice for Spider-Man is Devin Werkheiser, better known as Ned from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. I just looked at a picture of him recently, and he's got a very boyish face, so I think he could play high school, which is what Marvel wants. And he's in shape. He looks a lot like what I would expect Peter Parker to look like.
Yeah, I could totally buy him as the kind of nerdy Peter Parker, which I felt was missing from the Andrew Garfield iteration of Spider-Man. But as for the reboot, what do you think the plot's going to follow? It's already been announced that it's not going to be an origin story again. Where do you think they're going to go with it?
One rumor I heard was Kraven's Last Hunt, a storyline where Kraven the Hunter decides he's just going to hunt down Spider-Man for real, and he buries him and takes his costume and takes over his role. It's pretty cool. It's an exciting story. It's a really dark story, so I'd be surprised if they chose that one.
I think they should go with the dark Spider-Man route. We've seen campy, we've seen way too much thrown in Spider-Man 3 and in Amazing Spider-Man 2. They should have one singular villain, have it very isolating. And I think it'll work really well because the audience will see it anyway. Why not take a risk?
I agree.
So do you think this is a good direction for on the Marvel side? Because I know they're pushing back a few of their projects to accommodate for Spider-Man being in Infinity War as a major role. Do you think that's a good move for Spider-Man, or for Marvel? Or
well, there is going to be a Spider-Man movie before Infinity War. It's not going to have Andrew Garfield in it. It's going to be produced, financed by Marvel and Sony. Sony will retain creative control, obviously, but I think the main issue is the fact that they push back so many Marvel projects. They had a set schedule, and pushing back all those Marvel projects doesn't seem like a good idea in my mind because Spider-Man is already such a huge character. They can wait and make a really good Spider-Man movie instead of rushing one out and then perfect the other movies instead.
Okay, cool. So overall, we're optimistic about Spider-Man, but we're a bit worried that they're pushing back a few of their projects. Overall, if you want to hear more about Spider-Man news, TV news, movie news, basically anything, we're here at the Pretentious Film Majors, facebook.com/Pretentious Film Majors. You can follow us on Twitter and youtube.com/Pretentious Film Majors as well.